That's good. Hmm. Hi, Dave.
Hi. Oh, I forgot my mask.
There's one on the table over there. If you wanna- That little table right there. There's a black one.
Let me go out and get mine.
Okay.
I got a little cough.
Don't we all?
Yeah. Don't use them very often these days.
Okay. Yes.
It's a busy day.
Oh, yeah? What are you doing today?
Get ready to leave for Pennsylvania tomorrow.
Ah,
Go visit my daughter. My son up in, well, going up to Ticonderoga first
uh-huh.
to visit Chris. And then Tuesday heading out to Pennsylvania to see Gretchen.
Good.
Yeah. So,
That's nice.
yeah. I get everything ready.
Well, we're getting ready.
That.
We're getting ready to be 10 days in California.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
so I'm sympathetic to
Yeah.
the issues.
I haven't even, well, I probably won't pack until tomorrow,
Yeah.
but I gotta be on the road early tomorrow. So. Yeah, after this, I gotta shoot over to Norwich and get my meds.
Yeah. Isn't that an issue? Yeah.
Yeah.
Now.
'Cause I gotta get a couple of, at least a week's worth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just been busy.
Well,
That's okay.
as I have heard over and over and over, people keep saying that they're busier when they retire than they were before.
Yeah, I think so. Although I'm cutting back.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm gonna get off of a couple of committees. I think resign from the board of the Norwich Historical Society. So,
You've done that a long time now.
yeah, I think long enough.
Yeah.
I should have probably not re-upped for the last year.
Yeah.
It's kind of, yeah, just trying to spend more time. Not doing a lot of, not busy with committees and crap like that. Yeah.
Do what's good for your soul.
Well, yeah.
If you can.
No, I think you can, but it's just, and then, downsizing with all the stuff in my house. Trying to get that down to the bare minimum.
Yeah. We keep saying we'll work on that. I've done some, but not nearly enough.
No, I've kind of done some, but I think I just have to really go at it with a butcher knife.
Think about it, yes.
But it's stuff, I have a lot of history books.
Uh-huh.
But I have a lot of spiritual books. And I just want them to go, it would be nice, let's put it that way,
Yeah.
if they went in the right direction.
Yeah. I unfortunately had put a lot of stuff into the book business, which we sold,
Right, yeah.
that I, in retrospect, wish I passed on to more appreciative people, let me put it that way.
Yeah, that's the thing, so.
But that would still be the case with a lot of, I kept the core of things. I got rid of, I can't tell you how many books I've gotten rid of in my life.
Yeah.
Over and over, I do that.
Yeah.
And I still have books in every room of the house.
Yeah, well, because of the moves, mine are in the plastic bins in the basement.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of bookshelf space. And a lot of them, like the history stuff, I used to use, but now a lot of it's online.
Yeah.
So you can get, the history of Norwich, you can just go online and it's searchable, so it makes it a lot quicker.
Yeah.
If I need to do some fact checking or things like that.
Yeah.
So, Yeah. But I don't want to give them away because those, you know, they're worth a couple of bucks. So.
Yeah, yeah, well. I gave armload of Tai Chi books to, you don't know Lewis probably, Lewis somebody.
No, I don't think so.
He's been a private student for 6 years, maybe.
Wow.
It's interesting, he is fascinated by Master Zheng.
Oh.
And well, it's because he's a mathematician,
Okay.
as was Master Zheng.
Yeah.
So I've given him some of that stuff. But anyway, we're not here for that.
Oh, we're not here for that. Are we recording?
We are recording, and I am gathering that nobody's joining us today.
Nobody's joining. Come on.
Well, Joyce was, but she wrote me yesterday that she couldn't do it. And I expected Jeff, but he's not here.
He's not coming in.
So
Yeah, it's,
who knows?
oh,
We'll begin.
yeah.
So, just so everyone knows, Jane and I are going to California on the 14th for 10 days to take care of our grand puppy. So our next class will be the 25th. And when I send the notes, I'll put that in writing too, so you can put it in your schedule. Just another note, Route 82 coming over from Norwich is going to be closed from July 20th through August 29th. And they just put the signs up for that, so a lot of people don't know. I will double check, but I think the drive around that I had posted on our directions on the website are still there. If not, I'll put them back up. But there'll be I'm sure there'll be signs about how to get around it too. But
Yeah.
Nonetheless, just be aware that you're going to have to deal with that if you're driving here on Route 82. You always come the other way, Route 2 through Lake Hayward. Approaches from the other direction. If you don't get lost in the winding roads of East Haddam. So, do you have any questions, since you're the only questioner here?
Only questioner here. No, I think, no. I liked, last time we were starting with some review, which was good.
Yeah.
And I think we did the 8-count walk.
And so I'm going to throw another thought into it today. I don't want you to get bored. As if that were possible.
No.
I don't think it is. So I want you to understand the function of the midriff, because it's rather important. And it becomes a big deal when you turn from side to side. Your midriff, or your external obliques, if you want to use the correct physiological term, is the area between the top of your hip bone and the bottom of your ribs. And it has numerous functions. The muscles that are deep inside the midriff have some very distinct functions. But the big reason that you're opening it up is not just because of the muscular functions. That's where your left and right channels are. And if the midriff gets closed down, it reduces the flow of the energy in the left and right channels, which is the reason why it is a big deal in Qigong. It's also good for you physically as well. When the midriff opens, it opens space between the vertebrae of the spine from about the level of the navel to the heart, the middle of the spine. Now, you're not going to grow 5 inches, but you realize that the difference between having almost no space between your vertebrae and having just a tiny little bit is the difference in whether or not you're getting compressions there that mess up the signals traveling through your spinal cord. Maintaining a little bit more on an ongoing basis, 24 hours a day, is actually about your health. And it's actually where your nervous system functions from. And it's there, and it's whether or not you get pain or you don't get pain. And it's whether your body can adjust. But there's a second thing about lifting the midriff, which is harder to see. If the midriff is closed, it causes the chest to put pressure on the diaphragm, and that will cause you to breathe poorly. Opening the midriff takes the pressure off of your diaphragm, which is connected through all sorts of sub-anatomical structures, all the way up to the top of your head and all the way down to the bottom of your pelvis. So the breathing motion of your diaphragm is essentially directly tied into how everything is inside your whole torso and how it moves. And that's somewhat important because the internal organs don't have problems. If the midriff is open and the torso can move, then the internal organs don't develop problems. And when that stuff gets compressed, it also internally blocks blood flow inside of you because of the pressure. So this business of lifting the midriff is kind of a big deal, because without that, it causes your vertebra to collapse down, and that pulls your neck and your head. And doesn't everyone love neck and shoulder pain? Keeping your midriff open will make sure you get less of it. And that is very valuable and useful. And if your midriff closes down, it'll freeze your ability to rotate because of the way it affects your diaphragm. It will freeze your gluteal muscles. It will freeze your psoas muscle. And so lifting your midriff is important. It's not arbitrary. And the last message is that eventually it will free up the space that will give you the ability to connect the energy in the left and right channels of your body. So the first thing I want you to do is just a very simple exercise. And so first, just step out. And I'm going to suggest that you step wider than shoulders width. So step out into a wide stance to begin with. Let your quad relax so that you sit down a little bit. And just be very aware of your structure and your breathing, the things we normally do. And then focus on your midriff. And if you feel you need to touch it to feel where it is, that's fine. It's just that soft area between the hip, top of the hip bone and the bottom of the ribs. And just for a moment, be aware of closing it. Let yourself slump, if you will. Let yourself feel that area just collapse. And it can collapse a little bit and it can collapse a lot. But you don't want any of that. You want to keep that space open. And keeping that open, I want you just to begin by just shifting your weight from one foot to the other and being aware of keeping that space open while you make that shift. And shift as close to 100% on each foot as you can. And remember that the dantian is the center of your movement. Don't let yourself lean. And remember, just as we've done previously in doing this movement, remember it's not just controlling. You're thinking of using the energy and the movement of your qua to make this movement. And just being aware that that midriff is open. And then begin to add rotation. So as you go from foot to foot, you're allowing the body to turn. And remember, you're pivoting at the qua. But the real point of just doing this simple movement is to keep your attention on the midriff and keep it open. Now, one thing, I don't know that this will work for everybody, but you might play with it. As you rotate to one side, allow yourself to close your midriff. And then as you go to the other side, open it and see what you feel. And you can repeat that, so let it close. And then open it. Did you feel anything?
I didn't, no, I can't quite. I don't know if I'm really closing it.
So you really have to let it just relax, let it collapse. And then open, and it's not a huge movement.
No, it's a little tiny. Yeah. And then open it.
I will say what that does for me is that I can, when I open it, I can feel the energy shoot up my back.
Oh, okay. Oh, it's like a kind of wavy.
Yeah.
Wow. Not really very much.
You know, what I'm seeing when I'm
Yeah.
watching you is you close, and then when you go to the other side, you're pushing up.
Okay.
And remember that going to the other side is just a relaxation.
Yeah, it's a,
And so you have to let the qua relax, but open the midriff at the same time. Just easier said than done, perhaps.
yeah. No, I know it has to be parallel to the ground
Yeah.
to keep the
Well, really, I'm not that I think this is something to work on,
yeah,
something
Yeah.
to play with.
I might still be closing off other places too.
That's possible.
There is something that's moving around, but I don't think it's concentrated on the spine.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, there is some movement up, but it's like my whole body.
Well, that's
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah, it's a lightness. It feels light.
Uh-huh. That's good.
This is fun. Well, this is kind of a warm-up exercise I do a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not used to closing it down. Although I think no, that's not quite.
You're doing fine, Dave.
No, I have been practicing on get the chin back. Yeah, because that's right where the tickle spot is.
Mhm.
Right here. Closed. Yeah. I'll have to work on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think I'm still working on using the quad a lot.
Well, and the quad
That's part of it too.
is, of course, yeah.
And also it helps with the breathing too. I have a habit of holding my breath.
Ah,
Yeah. And just allowing it to be open
yeah.
and come and go. So, yeah,
Do you know why you? hold
why
your
I
breath?
hold my breath? It's probably just, I tend to, if I concentrate on something else, it'll, that stops. So it's like, if you're playing golf and you're thinking about all the things you got to do to hit the ball, you'll never hit the ball.
Right. That's right.
And to really go back, and for me, it's been more breathe. Oh, there I am, I'm tight again, breathe. It's just a matter of setting my intention to open this up more.
Yeah.
It could be that I feel more vulnerable too.
Mhm.
After, because if you get punched in the solar plexus, everything goes haywire.
Yeah.
So I have a tendency to want to tighten those muscles. Right? So it could be a defensive thing.
I promise I won't.
Oh, okay. But I have other people that have.
It's been a long time since that's happened to me.
Yeah.
but,
That's a good exercise though.
So the next thing is how you go side to side and keep turning, which is a very big thing inside of Qigong, Tai Chi, Bagua, and even Taoist yoga. The central point of practicing all Qigong, besides circulating your energy, is to move your internal organs and glands more strongly and make them healthier and more balanced. If you have a leg injury that causes you to walk funny, it probably won't kill you. But if your liver functions very badly, you have a lot of trouble walking around. And if your kidneys go bad, you're depressed all the time, you're weak, and you have no energy. And if your lungs go bad, walking becomes a very big problem. Not to mention that when hearts don't work well, that can kill you. And that's
Really?
really. And that's not even getting into what can happen with your glands. Because when your glands don't work, guess what? Life becomes no fun. But let's stay with the internal organs. So one of the things you're doing with all this all these turning motions are that you need to get your internal organs squeezed and moved. In other words, exercised. This is about getting your internal organs to work better. A part of doing this is you have to have a certain position that puts the internal organs in a box. And the Chinese have a simple term they use for this, the 4 points, which we certainly talked about. So the area of the 4 points is defined by the shoulder's nest. And it's called the shoulder's nest because it should sink in like a bird's nest. The lower point of the box is, of course, the qua points, which besides holding your psoas muscle, is a very critical endpoint in terms of how the energy in the left and right channels must exit to the legs, and then way it comes back up from the legs into the body. It's central to the energy of the left and right channels being able to move up and down the body. So these 4 points must be kept within a box. So no matter how far you turn, these 4 points are always on a line with each other. That way, when you're turning, you get the maximum even pressurization inside your internal organs. So they are constantly being squeezed and released. In other words, massaged. This causes blood and energy to go into the organs and blood and energy to leave the organs. And as you turn inward, it causes the energy to go into your organs. And as you turn outward, it causes energy to go away from them. It's a primary energetic circulation of the body. Also, if you keep the 4 points together, your spine is straight. Your internal organs hang off the spine. So you need to keep the 4 points together when you are turning, because anatomically, your internal organs are directly linked to your spine. And when the spine goes out, you don't get an even pressure on your organs. And you no longer have what allows that pressure to go in and out of your internal organs. So, this midriff is an important thing. And making sure that you maintain the 4 points is really important. And I think everybody's aware of that, but I think it deserves repetition. So you'll find in here, I suggest, actually, let's do it. Let's go back to that shifting and rotating. And now what I want you to do is to begin to try to be aware of the connection to your internal organs. And just see if you can begin to be aware how this simple movement is actually affecting them. So one of the things is, of course, that it's not going to help if you contract your abdominal muscles. You need to allow them to relax. You might also be aware of how this motion affects the spine. What's the relationship, not only of keeping the midriff open, excuse me. But also at the same time, maintaining your structure so that the spine is not compressed in any way. Excuse me. Well, that's another one you can play with. So now let's work through our 8 gates. And obviously, all of this is extremely important in all of that. So let's go back and sort of start at the beginning and go through, starting with our standing meditation work. So as you come into your basic structure, one of the things now about basic structure is keeping the midriff open, not allowing it to collapse. On the other hand, obviously not overextending it up either, but allowing it to be open. Excuse me. Now, before you go into these movements, I just want to point out that as we are bending and stretching, those movements are happening in the quad, the knee, the ankle, scapula, shoulder, elbow, wrist, and hands. It's not happening in the midriff. The midriff stays open. So as you go into the first posture, you're not letting that midriff close. You're keeping it open through the whole movement. Excuse me. So let's flow through here. So being aware of keeping the midriff open all the time and not allowing it to close. Think about it in terms of the flow of the left and right channels. Excuse me. What got me here?
It's no water.
I forgot to bring it down, of course. I may have to go get it.
Gonna say deposit.
Really trying to be aware of how you can bend and stretch without collapsing the midriff. So, does it make any difference?
Yeah, it's causing me to focus a little more in this area. And again, my breathing, because I still tend to tighten these abdominal muscles. And catch myself holding my breath again.
So that may be a benefit.
Yeah,
Help you be
just
aware of that.
to bring my awareness more down to where it needs to be really soft. And also my structure with the spine. If when you get it just right, it seems that this movement is pretty easy because it's supported by the skeletal mass. And I have a tendency to lean forward a little bit, which you can feel the body weight is not centered like it should be.
Yeah.
Which is, this is definitely a lot stronger than if I'm hunched over. I have a tendency to do that a lot too.
Yeah.
I've seen pictures of me. It's like, what am I doing that for?
I know.
It's like, I go like this. Come on, stay that straight.
Right.
But yeah. And actually, it's something that I may think I'm standing up straight, but again, if somebody takes a profile picture, oh, there's Dave, he's kind of hunched over. But to just be aware of it throughout the day, not just when I practice.
Yeah.
I think that's really important.
So then we might think about it in the walk. Just the 8-count walk, which we're thinking primarily about legs usually, but the rest of us is connected to that.
Right.
And it's important to maintain that structure, keeping the midriff open. So
Mhm.
it just, changing the focus of your practice. It's not that you need to do anything hugely different, just do the same things, but be aware of that particular part of it. Stepping out and out into your right gongbu. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And just keep going for a minute. Yeah. Avoid the
It's gonna
flow.
be hard to do that.
Yeah.
Go up and do that.
That's right.
There we go.
Yeah.
7.
Okay. I might just say one thing to be aware of, because I think you're overturning the torso on 3.
Yeah, I can tell because when yeah, because then it gets way over here.
Your tendency on 3 is to have the shoulders and qua already turned,
Oh, yeah,
and it's not. Because on 2, you're here.
yeah.
On 3, everything's turning together, so the body's facing straight.
Forward.
The 3's on the 3. The leg is on an angle,
Right,
and it doesn't actually rotate until 5.
yeah,
I don't launch, David.
yeah. That's the 10-toe rule.
Yes.
That's, yeah, that's, so. It's 1, 2, 3. There we go. That's better. 4, and then. Slightly,
But not too much.
not too much. And then on this one, it's just going over here, right?
Yes,
And this is the rest of it.
right.
Okay.
Right.
It's a little confused with if it doesn't partially start when you go over on 7, but you really don't. You just
Not
slide.
until you add the arms. And then the upper,
Oh,
the
yes,
upper
that's
body.
where I'm confused. You're right, that's right. Because the arms start to go out on 7 and 8. So I was thinking the body, but it's not. It actually goes over and then boom. And
That's the real difficulty, is that from the quad up, when you add the arms, it's continually rotating. But what's happening from the quad down stays the
it's
same.
not the same. Okay, that's where I was kind of wondering about that.
Because remember that from the quad down is 5 elements. The quad up is 8 gates.
Right,
So you're working with a different energy sequence.
right, yeah. Yeah, and that's where I got confused when they put the hands in, because I was doing the body instead of, and they come out and then finish. So,
We'll get there.
it's only taken a few years.
Yes, it takes it.
But this is actually was working on this and the form.
Yep.
Two, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8.
So remember that 1 in this
It's
is
like-
straight back. There's no rotation of the torso.
Oh, I
there.
thought it was a slight one to the right.
That's when the arms,
Oh, see?
they have to separate the two.
I think over the years I put them both together.
Easy to do.
Yeah, so it's okay. So 1, 2, 6, 7.
Nice.
That's better.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I always see there again on 1. I was always going slightly this way, but that's just from here up.
Yep.
I wonder if other people are doing that.
Very likely.
Yeah, because it's
Which is why
I put them all together.
so I hope everybody caught that as I was working with Dave, because and I'm just going to turn me towards the camera for a moment. So remembering that when we're doing the walk, 1 is just straight back to 60%. 2 is a release. 3 turns the leg, and it's important that the leg and body rotate together. And so the body's facing forward when you complete 3. And it stays forward on 4 and on 5A. It's not till 5B that you actually rotate in the direction of the right foot. And then on 6, you rotate and step empty. 7, you just shift forward. 8, you just rotate forward. So when we add the arms, those movements that you were putting into the walk are present. So it is a little confusing.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever been mentioned. Or if you did,
Maybe not as
it's just went in one
specifically.
ear and out the
Yeah.
other.
Maybe not as specifically. as
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yep. So when we do add the arms, it's obviously equally important to keep the midriff open. And it may be a little more difficult to do that because we sort of have the tendency, as soon as we go into, I'm thinking just of the basic dynamic sphere here for a moment. but it is very easy to collapse the midriff.
Yeah.
And when you come down through the S curve, it's very easy to collapse the midriff. And we can collapse it in the other sinking movement. So when we add the arms and we begin to have those chansogen movements, we really have to be aware that we don't allow the midriff to collapse. So let's just.
So then how do you sink?
You sink at the qua. How do you sink? You sink here.
That's
You don't
yeah.
sink here.
No, but I know I've done the other as well.
Yeah,
If you take that out of it, you got to go down here sometime.
that's right. That's right. So
it's
I mean, you
all
can
right.
exaggerate this.
Yeah,
My midriff is open
right.
and it stays open. And you can make this a bigger movement.
Yeah.
Without closing the midriff.
So the back of the spine has to stay pretty much straight and perpendicular to the floor.
Yeah, because we haven't talked about the C curve in the spine yet.
No, well, that's what I was thinking. Is there a C curve at that point?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. So it's okay.
But let's not go
All
there.
right, nope, fine.
So if we just think about the single arm movement for a moment.
Yeah.
So when we get to here, we're down, we're bent, but we're not collapsed. So it's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1. That's 2.
That's 2.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's not the single arm. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Yeah, now I'm thinking about those other things I did with my feet.
Yeah. So that comes into play here, doesn't it?
Yeah. It's, yeah, in order to get over here, I have to get, whereas before I was doing this. But it's straight back. And
Well, but it's straight back, but
oh, here my belly
this
gotta go.
this is going, you're here,
Yeah,
and this is
the quad's gotta,
the
this
quad.
one's gotta open, this one, no,
It's
this
gonna
one
close.
opens, this one closes.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, but I'm still. That's gonna add a few extra things to think about. Well, that's good. I never realized, I just didn't have that in my consciousness, I guess,
Yeah,
to add those details.
so obviously all of this continues in the double arm, but I thought you
Yeah.
mentioned the form. Maybe we should jump to the form.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, actually with the double arm too. I know I asked you before that there's some changes in the double arm that don't appear in the single.
Mhm.
And that's where
Because we're doing a different sequence of energies.
yeah. So when we get around to here.
Yeah.
This is where I think we do this.
Don't shift forward.
Oh, that's where, okay. We do this and then it
And
goes
spread.
and it spreads.
This is
Okay.
actually, remember when we think about the energy, this is Earth.
Or it can be a lot of things.
Well, but at the moment. So. So we have 7, 8, 1, 2, 3. And remember at this point, your body should be facing forward.
Yep.
5, 4, 5, 6, 7,
And then it just turns.
8. And that's forward. That's you're shifting forward there.
Oh.
Because it's that's
it's
the
you
energy.
stay back.
What?
You stay back. When
You stay back here
and you
and
just
then you go
turn.
forward. And then
Yeah.
up, down.
And
Don't
this
do
is the one, yeah. because
boom.
The body goes across, but the arms are gonna start to go out and then finish out here.
So the arms have 7, 8. It's
Right.
just it's really small at the top.
Okay.
Because you're ending up in John Thunder. Yay, split.
But I think the part that was really throwing me off is this one, because I was coming forward into it. No.
So go back, start at the beginning.
Okay.
I'm mirroring you. 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Turn 7. Shift and turn 8.
Okay.
8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And keep the midriff open.
Yeah, I know. I could tell. Yeah, that's because I do have a tendency to mean. And
Yeah.
I gotta keep chin up and up.
And this is the center, because as soon as you let yourself lean, that starts pulling the energy up.
Right, yeah, try to think about the rectangle.
Yep.
And keep that rectangular.
Keep it rectangular and sitting.
And the, yeah.
Yeah.
Shoulders. Yeah.
Nothing to think about.
No, it's just lifetime of slunching, what do you call it?
Yeah.
Which, yeah. That's now that I have a few years on me, I try to pay more attention to that because I've seen way too many people that are walking around like this. And they don't necessarily have to do that.
No, they don't. And they would feel better if they didn't.
Right, yeah, but I, for some reason, I don't think they've done it for so long that the calcification has taken place. And
Oh,
they really can't just.
They can't straighten up.
Yeah, one of the things in the morning I'm doing a lot of now is this, and hearing a lot of crunching and.
So let me say a thing about that, because that's, that can be very dangerous. You have to make sure.
Oh, yeah.
Because the problem is that when people do that, they tend to pivot on one vertebra.
Mhm.
And what you have to do is make sure you do crane neck
Right,
and extend
give a little bit of space.
and get all of the vertebra to move if you
Yeah.
want to do that.
Yeah.
And actually, I don't highly recommend that.
No, but I know in some of my CAT scans that they mentioned there's some calcification going on.
Yeah.
And I can feel it too, like if I'm sleeping on my pillow wrong.
Yeah.
And you go to move your head over, it's like, whoa, let's do that a little slowly.
What I do every morning, my chiropractor gave me, I press,
Mhm.
press,
Oh, okay.
press,
Yeah,
and then release and rotate, and release and rotate,
okay.
and release and bend, and release and bend. I do that every day.
Well, that's
It's
a good one.
part of my routine.
Yeah, because this will get the muscles,
Right.
when you're pushing against resistance.
It's strengthening the neck
Right.
and working on the flexibility.
Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, that's kind of I found it helpful because I was having some trouble with some of my cervical vertebrae not remaining stable.
Mhm.
I haven't had any trouble for a while
Oh, okay.
now. So it works.
Yeah, no, I'm sure it does.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And I do like a 6-second hold.
okay,
Is how long I do it.
yeah,
You could do more, but
yeah,
probably enough.
yeah. Yeah, and then doing heaven and earth, you kind of learn how to bend with the top one and then the top two, which is,
Hopefully with all of them.
well, eventually.
So in the form, do you have
Um,
any particular?
yeah, it's not so much here, and this one.
Well,
I think my foot has to be actually over here by the time you get to this one, because then,
well, no,
no?
no. Here is out, in, out, and you're planted on the feet. You're in
Oh,
a
yeah.
full bow stance at that point.
Okay, still, okay,
And then you go to 100% rotate in. So,
that's when it comes.
so 5,
Yeah,
6, except that this goes out on an angle. And you have, and the body has rotated to here as you do that.
yeah,
And then you shift and twist them. So turn the right toes in. Because you need to. You should need to, but go right.
Oh, yeah, this one. Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah.
See, I forgot that little piece.
Because
Yeah, I forgot that.
if we go back to the beginning, we go to here. This foot's on a 45-degree angle over here.
Yeah,
And go to here. And now your feet are at right angles to each other. And so as you make this turn, you want to turn those toes at the same time. Step wide. Not long, wide.
this one.
Ah,
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah, you do have more energy that way because you're gonna want to go
yeah.
into
And
that.
turn on the heel, not the toe.
Yeah, okay. Well, that's where the energy's gonna come from.
Yeah.
It's this one. So I want to go this way, but I think it's this one.
It's straight ahead.
It's straight ahead, sure. Okay. And then, yeah.
So if you go back to press,
Mhm.
so the left toe is turned forward, net forward to the corner, more or less.
Yeah.
So you're going to shift forward and the arms separate. That draws in, and the arms begin to rotate and bend in as you come back. And then as you go out, they expand. Think of it as spherical. What I'm seeing you do is this,
Right.
and what you want is this.
Oh, it involves more of the elbows and that scapula.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And then,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
And then we come back, and you want that to come right over the top and straight back and down. And then you go up, reset the foot down through the S curve. Then you rise on the right, turning right, positioning, and that left foot goes out on an angle. And you shift forward to the elbow strike.
Yeah.
And then you shift onto the left and rotate in. That's where you go to embrace the moon. That gets the arms into that position. And then you step straight and you rotate and shift and rotate. Okay. Nothing to it.
Nothing to it.
Is it funny how much there is in just 8?
Yeah, I know. But it's coming together. I know when I do it right,
Yeah.
it feels right.
Yeah,
That's the main thing.
no, I can, but I definitely see improvement.
Yeah, and especially trying to get this this thing where it's out and in. See, I'm already too far. It's got to happen faster, I think.
Yeah,
And
yep.
Yeah,
Good.
so you're out, in, out.
Uh-huh.
I'm already at my dynamic limit here.
Yep.
Um,
If you also, if, when you step out here and you
Yeah.
start into that movement, if you can make your body,
oh, do the, yeah, you're right, the same,
that gives you more distance.
yeah. It comes here.
Yes. Better.
Yeah, I'm still reaching. It should be the body that's just
Yeah.
pushing the arms.
Right.
It's,
Easier said than done.
no, I know. Well, it's like, I don't know, animal frolics when you're doing the deer thing,
Ah, yes.
which is this. The hands don't do this. It's just,
Yep.
oh no, it's the tiger, right?
Tiger. Yeah, tiger.
Tiger. And then when you reach your limit, it's
Right.
and then back. Okay, one piece at a time.
Great.
Oh, that was good. Very good. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I hope everybody enjoys this.
Yeah, we got a little bit of everything, even the frolics in there.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Good.
Today's payday.
Oh, yes, it is. This is the first class of a new session, and some people have paid me already.